So we are trying to reach out to all the major house builders here in the UK and construction companies too, to try and encourage them to look at this. Because even to the extent where somebody can just have a sticker on a hard hat, then gives paramedics immediate access to that person's medical information. Now, a lot of these companies may have in-house systems that you're
Right.
relying on somebody to carry an iPad around with them all the time, but it doesn't beat actually having a physical thing that accesses the medical information. So I think it's organisations really, schools, specialist schools. There are plenty of those in the UK. You've got them over there in Canada too.
Of course, of course. And I think one of the things is once it becomes kind of a ubiquitous thing in a specific industry, like-minded individuals in other industries will think, wow, this is something that we need to implement into our way of doing things.
We've had this conversation loads of times, but what we really
Yeah.
need is for one of our customers to be Kim Kardashian or somebody equally as famous, and then to have a trip or a
Who?
call. I think I've heard it somewhere. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's 2025. The person's Chapel Roan. We need to get her to have a
Okay.
TAP2TAG device.
Okay. So whoever that is, I have no idea. You may have guessed, everybody, Keith and I are old. Well,
We're old.
I think I add more to that age.
Mhm.
But anyway, I mean, we just need somebody famous to have one of our devices. They stick their heel in the pavement or whatever. But anyway, and then somebody running along and tapping their device. But
Yeah.
we're not we don't want to fool anybody to have any bad instances in life. But
Of course.
that's the silly way. The other way is really trying to get word of mouth out there and doing things like this, trying to get people to understand exactly how TAP2TAG works, why it's been a benefit. And I bet anytime you have shown this to anybody, Keith, the first thing they'll say is, wow, that's amazing.
Absolutely. 100% of the time they say, this is great. Why haven't I seen this? How does that work? Every single time.
And it costs money. It's a very expensive game, the advertising game. I mean, we've tried doing some limited TV commercials here in the UK.
Well, speaking of money, and from a business perspective, we've had this back and forth for a revenue model. And Chris being, the forward thinker, oddly enough, I'm the technologist, but Chris seems to be more forward thinking when it comes to the way technology is going with the regular people. Chris was the one who said, we at some point we need to go to a subscription model, and I was very much against it. But anyway, tell us why you always thought that was the way to go, and you saw the future in the way things were working.
Because I know how much it costs, Keith. No, the part of the issue is that we are continually innovating and maintaining servers with all this data on, with all the security, all the maintenance that's required, costs money. Storage, we now offer unlimited, within the bounds of reason, storage within medical profiles. So you can upload care plans, or we even had one customer put their last ECG recording within their profile, and that was actually used by the paramedics who couldn't believe.
Full recording. Excellent.
So that kind of stuff takes time, takes money, and also we are innovating all the time. So that costs money as well. We have a brilliant development team who are sort of pushing the boundaries of programming and coding, and I know that's your bag of tricks to control to look at. But the only way it becomes sustainable is through a subscription base. But our subscription model is, with the very few competitors that are out there, is still the cheapest, most inexpensive model on the planet.